Hello, this is Elif from ARIQuestions.com. Today's video is about how to read and analyze NCARB's ARI questions. In this video, I will solve a question provided in the free NCARB Practice Exam. I'm sharing this content solely for educational purposes. This question is NCARB's intellectual property, and I am not claiming ownership of it. I highly encourage you to explore NCARB's free practice exams. So let's begin. So the question says, the program for a new university recreation building requires large open gymnasiums and open plan exercise rooms for flexible space configuration with 40-foot base. Additionally, the university wants a solution where the mechanical ductwork integrates with, rather than drops below, the structural members. By the way, pay attention to NCARB grammar and the use of the language, English language. It is always very bizarre like this. Like if you copied and pasted this sentence, this whole paragraph into Grammarly, it would like 5 red highlights would pop up, or like on an AI, if you say like how grammatically correct this sentence is, they would be like, no, I think this is there's a better version, like 5 better versions. But it is part of the exercise. Get used to this weird language, okay? Not the ideal version. Anyway, continuing. It says, which structural systems are appropriate for this building? Check the 2 that apply. I picked this question intentionally because it sounds very technical, right? You need to know, look at the options, very short. If you don't know, you don't know. If you know, it says 40-foot base. So you need to know the structural span of these systems. And you will be like, oh, wait a second, I did not memorize. I don't know any of that knowledge. Is NCARB expecting me to memorize these? Actually, no. Let's highlight this question. Yes, you need to know a little bit. And yes, you are an architect. You went to school. Don't worry, you know this much, okay? So you don't need to go crazy on every structural system that you see here and memorize their spanning distances to answer this question correctly. Let's look at what I highlighted here. By the way, I got this question. Someone emailed me and asked about this question and asked me to help them because they said they never heard the terminology solid wood joists and girders. And they were asking me, like, they sent me a few pictures and do you think NCARB is talking about this or that? Up until that point, I never considered this question with this perspective is what I'm trying to say. I literally thought about all of the structural systems and tried to answer the question by using my knowledge. But once he asked that question, it made me catch something. The question says large open, right? So the space, we need a large span. It says open plan exercise rooms for flexible space configurations. What does it mean? We don't need too many interruptions of the structural system. If you have a very repetitive column system, right, you cannot have the flexibility. So it says for different space configurations, get rid of the columns. I don't want them. You cannot get rid of them entirely, but like do your best. And it says ductwork should integrate, not drop below. So it has to pass through the system. When the guy asked me in the email, what do you think about the solid wood joists and girders? I was trying to Google some images and like try to think that this is what, actually do that. Put it in Google, solid wood joists and girders. You are going to see different things coming up and you may not be exactly sure which one is which one because, and usually I believe it's been a while, but I think usually slabs, not the, like the ceiling comes up. So it's usually a slab situation. But here, what I missed before and then realized later was that it says ductwork integrates. So when it said integrate, my understanding was like, make sure it's not like conflicting. But then I missed the part. It says rather than drops below, it wants it to pass through. So I need openings in the system. So it doesn't actually, the rest doesn't matter. When you see still open, right, web joists and engineered glue lump trusses, I know all of you guys, I'm sure all of you already seen, has an image of a exercise room, like a gymnasium type of, so school gymnasium type of large open space. And so those trusses, right, triangles that are like to cross over like a large span. Everybody has that in their brain. You don't even need to be an architect. It's enough to go to a school, go to high school and go to a gymnasium like at some point in your life or indoor sports facility. So then when you look at the other options, the word solid means that it cannot integrate, it cannot pass through. So the solid was a key word there. And the most important part of the question was, I think, here when it says rather than drops below. So the open structural members provide room for ductwork to integrate, meaning pass through the system. Okay, let's look at them. I just put them as like a visual reference. The other four options, though, when you look at them, obviously C is immediately gone because it's a solid wood joist. You cannot pass through them. Two-way concrete and one-way concrete, slab and beam, have the similar issues. Two-way concrete is going to have, let's look at them image-wise. It's going to have repetitive columns, and of course the ductwork has to, what did it say? Drop below, right? It has to drop below. And waffle has the same issue. It has a drop below, and the slab and beam means beams are going to drop, so you need to go underneath them. Concrete, 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 all three options are concrete. So obviously we don't know, you don't have holes in a concrete slab and beam or waffle type of situation. It is going to go underneath, and the question said it has to integrate, and it says pick two. Since the four options are about all solid structural members, no room for the integration of the ductwork, we can group them together. They have similar type of slab and beam situation going on. Okay, so that's why those are the incorrect options.